Hi everyone, how's it going? Welcome to the Monday live stream, and I'm gonna be the commentator for the Monday Night Blitz tournament, and I'm going to just let me set this up on my iPad. So just hold on. Okay, let's see. Okay, great. Okay, so I'm still setting this live stream up. So just hold on. Go to YouTube. Go over here to my channel. Okay. So I go over here. Okay. Okay, wait. Okay. Let me set this up. 7 people. Okay. Okay, so I just sent the link. That's good. Okay, so far we have 7 people. Okay, it looks like Chris Torres is playing. That's fantastic. We've got Leo Burrito, Laser Puppies, Travis King 14, Spider with a Top Hat, Spider-Man Hot Dog. Interesting. And Edie Right. So this is gonna be a fun tournament, everyone. If you want to comment, just feel free to chat. Chat something in the chat box. Yep. Oh, another person joined. So we have David Pacheco. So remember, David Pacheco, Spider with the Top Hat, and right, they played in last week's chess tournament. So hopefully we'll get some more people. But right now, I think this is a good turnout with 8 people. But hopefully we get some more. And this is a blitz tournament, so that means that the time control is 5 minutes. So that's quick. Should be fun. And oh wait, one person just dropped out. Oh, okay, that's okay. And my 5 minutes, that's not a lot of time. So my recommendation is when your opponent is thinking and the time is on your opponent's time, that's a perfect time to think about what your next move is. Um, so we had some pretty crazy games last week, but we'll see what happens today. So yep, we got about 1 minute. If you don't know who I am, I'm a chess teacher in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I've been teaching chess for the last 10 years, and I teach kids and adults. Chris Torres, he's also a well-established chess teacher too. So I'm glad that we are hosting this tournament for you. This is great. So, okay, so we have about less than 30 seconds left, and we've got 7 people. So I look forward to doing commentary, and then after the tournament is over, stick around because then I can commentate. I can analyze like some games, like the entire chess games. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna start very, very soon. So here we go, everyone. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look. Let's see. Oh wow, okay. I think one of my students is playing. That's great. Let's see. Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, so this is great. I recognize some of the people here, so you guys welcome. Um, wait. Are you guys playing? Oh, okay, here we go. Okay, so the first game is against Coach Tortoise and Laser Puppies. So let's just take a look. I noticed. Okay, so White castle. I also noticed that White has a strong pawn center. So right now, this is a standard position, so that's great. Let's move on to another game. Come on. Okay, so Bird or Bus, he's playing in this tournament. Okay, I'm trying to get to the next game. No. Let's see. Come on. Won't let me. Okay. The bishop went to g4. Notice that it's pinning the knight to the queen. So that means it would be a bad idea for the knight to move, because if this knight on f3 moves, then the bishop can just take the queen on d1. So when you're playing chess, you gotta pay attention to what pieces are on the same line as the queen. Okay, let's see if I can get, uh-oh. Come on, I wanna see. Come on. Okay, why won't I? Uh-oh. Okay, I'm trying to view another game right now, and when I push this icon, it won't let me see the other games. Oh no. I don't know what happened. Okay, me let me see something. Let me go here. Come on, let's go to games. Still won't let me. Okay, let's go to games. Okay, here we go. Okay, great. I got to the next game. This is against Spider with a top hat vs Bird or Bus. Last week, Bird or Bus won the tournament. So, what do we have here? It looks like a standard position right now. Okay, so the queen goes here. It's attacking the bishop and the knight. It's not safe for this queen to capture the bishop or the knight because the pieces are protected. Um, but it looks like, maybe Bright or Best could take this pawn. If this knight takes the pawn, and if the knight takes it back, then this queen can safely just take this bishop. So I do see a tactic. So if oh, okay, so pawn goes to a3, and I think the knight can just safely just take the pawn on e4, as I told you before, because this knight's protecting the pawn and the bishop at the same time. Okay, and then that's what he did. Okay, so if knight takes knight, then the queen can safely just take this bishop. So that means that this knight is overloaded right now. Okay, let's move on to another game. So let's go ahead and go to Coach Tortoise and Laser Puppies. And White is in a winning position. This queen is checking this king. This king is exposed. It's very, very open right now. What happened to Black's queen? I have no idea, but um, maybe I can go over the entire game with you guys after the tournament is over. The queen is checking the king. I noticed that black's only move is to move the bishop to d7, and then the bishop is pinned. So what I would do is I would move the a rook over to d1, and you want to put more pressure on the pinned piece. So there's many ways white can win in this position. This rook can also take the pawn on a7, and that threatens checkmate by moving the rook over to a8. But we'll see how white plays this. I also noticed the knight can also go to d7. Okay, so he decides to move this rook over to d1, and then white is threatening checkmate. So I think the best move is for the rook to go to e7, but then the king can go to b8, and then that's a checkmate. Okay, the reason why this is checkmate is because the king can't take the queen, and the rook is protecting the queen. So that's why this is checkmate. Let's go ahead and go on to another one. Let's go ahead and check out this game. Let's see what's going on. It looks like Spider with a top hat wanted to trade bishops, but Bert or Buzz decided to just move the bishop to f6. I also noticed that black is up a bishop. I noticed that black has two bishops, but white only has one bishop. That's interesting. I also noticed that white also has a not so good pawn stretcher. So this pawn stretcher is not good. These two pawns here are double isolated pawns, and then this pawn is this pawn is isolated too. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so the time, let's see. I also noticed that Brit or Bus has a little bit over 2 minutes, and Spider with a top hat has less than 1 minute. So that means that White needs to hurry up. Can White hold on in this position? We'll see. We'll see about that. We'll see. So this bishop is going there. Oh, it seems like this bishop wants to go to c4. If the bishop goes here, well, it'd be attacking the rook. Okay, and then let's see what's going on. Okay, so the knight is okay. So I'm assuming, okay, so queen takes bishop. I don't see much of an attack right now. I mean, if the queen can get to g7, then that would be good. But right now, I don't. This is difficult right now. Okay, white has less than 5 seconds right now. Need to hurry up. Okay, okay, so black won on time. Okay, so let's move on. Let's go to standings. So we've got okay, so Coach Tordes and Bird or Bus and Iterate, they've won their first round game. Let's take a look at the games right now. Okay, this is against Coach Tordes and Iterate. And this is the e4, e5 opening. This is a very common opening. Usually white will continue by moving the knight to f3. Moving the pawn to d3, it is a good and a bad move because, first of all, how are you going to get this bishop out? It cannot because of this pawn. So usually if you go e4, e5, usually people are going to go ahead and move the pawn at f3, move this bishop out, and then move the pawn to d3. So okay, so this is very interesting. What is his plan? Okay, this bishop is attacking the pawn on f2. Notice that the f2 pawn is only protected by the king, and this knight could maybe go to g4 one day and attack the pawn. But let's go ahead and go see another game. Okay, so the next game is, oh wow, this is interesting. We've got a 2300 rated player. Wow. I don't know who this is, but okay, that's exciting. Um, let's see what's going on. So this queen that's attacking this knight, also this pawn too. Okay, knight goes there. Notice when the knight. Okay, so this knight's is on a very nice square right now. Notice that none of white's pawns can attack the knight on e4. So this is very powerful. But I also noticed that this knight can also go to e5, and then this knight would be very good. So right now it looks like a pretty equal position, so that's interesting. Let's go ahead and move on to another game. This is against Starlit and Spider with a top hat. Right now, this okay, so the last move it was this pawn going here. And okay, so the knight's attacking this bishop. If I was in this position, I would probably just take the knight with the bishop because if the pawn takes, then I can take it back with the queen, and then black's king is gonna be open or exposed, so that would be good for white. But we'll see, how Starlit is gonna respond to this. Okay, so rook takes the pawn. It makes sense, taking that pawn was easy, and then if I was white, I would probably maybe, double up. So we'll see. Or actually, maybe we can take the knight right now with the bishop, because if rook takes, then the bishop can take the rook. But let's move on to another game. Let's move on to These Are Puppies. And let's see what's going on here. It looks like this white king is a little bit open, but I also noticed that Spider-Man Hot Dog's king is still in the middle too. Hmm, this is very interesting. Okay, oh, so now this bishop can just take the knight on h5. Uh-oh. Okay, um, whoa, this is crazy. The queen could just take the knight right now. Or, yeah, that's what I would do. I would take the knight right now, and if I was black, I would be pretty concerned right now because the rook, this bishop, and this king, they're all on the same line. So black needs to be careful. Um, so I don't understand about this move. The queen could just take the knight right now, and it's safe to do that. Okay. Um, okay, so queen goes here. We'll see what happens. If I was in this position, I would probably move my knight over to e7. If the queen goes here, then perhaps we can move. Okay, so the knight goes there. Um, isn't this interesting? Maybe the bishop can take the pawn on g7 to attack the bishop, and then once this rook moves, then the bishop can go back to f7. So the bishop goes to a5, but now the bishop has to move. So interesting game. Okay, let's move on. Okay, it looks like Chris Torres, his game ended. I don't know what happened, but okay, let's move on to Brit or Bus. Okay, what is going on right now? Um, okay, so White has these two rooks over here. Okay, and Rick is off. White is threatening the okay, wait, the Rick goes here. Okay, so it looks like Rick. Okay, so Rick takes, and then the knight can just take this pawn. So it looks like black is winning. Okay, but time. Okay, Brit or Bus has about 1 minute, and black has about 3 minutes left. Um, Okay, and black, okay, so white, resigned? Okay, so again, if the rook takes the rook on b2, then the knight can safely take the pawn on d4. Okay, so that's interesting. Let's move on to another game. Let's move on to this game. This is against Spider with a top hat and Starlet. Okay, so right now, the knight is forking the queen and the rook at the same time. So, uh-oh, we gotta just move this queen. I would probably just take this pawn right here. Okay, if I was black, I would now just take the rook, and then let's go there. And this is very interesting. So this is triple isolated pawns. This is not a good pawn stretcher. White is in a playable position. Okay, what is going on right now? So the queen just goes here. If I was white, I would probably just take this pawn right now. The queen is attacking this pawn, but I wouldn't want. Okay, what is going on right now? Um, hmm. Maybe the bishop to h2. Not too sure. Because the pawn and the queen are protecting the bishop, so I'm not too sure about bishop to h2. If I was white, I would just take the pawn on d5 right now. Okay. Whoa, the pawn just moves to d4. This is a free pawn. Okay. And look at white's pawn stretcher right now. This is good pawn stretcher, by the way. So white is down the exchange. If you notice right now, white has a queen and a bishop and a bunch of pawns, but notice that um, black has a rook and the queen. So, but again, I think that white has chances here right now. Uh-oh, I would definitely just protect the pawn. Uh-oh. Okay. Um, so I don't know, we'll see. We'll see. Let's move on to another game. Let's move. Okay, so there's two more games. Let's check out Laser Puppies. And right now, white is not in a good position. Notice that black has a queen and white doesn't. Oh my gosh. Okay. So now this is okay, yeah, but black is still in a winning position because but oh, white's gonna lose on time. Okay, good game. So black won on time and in position. So that interesting game. Let's move on to another one. So the last game is against Starnet and Spider with the top hat and um so this is what just happened. Okay, so black won on time. Okay. Um Interesting move. Okay. Um let's move on. Okay, so this is round 3. Standings, I'm not too sure, but let's go ahead and take a look at the top board. This is against Coach Tortoise and Rene. I don't know how to pronounce that, so I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Um okay, so it's A3, D5. A3 is not, I don't, did he start out with knight to F3 or E3? But okay. So when the pawn goes at b3, oftentimes this bishop is gonna go to b2. And then if the bishop goes at b2, then the bishop is on this long diagonal. And then it looks like white is gonna go ahead and castle. Yep. So this is interesting. Let's move on to the next game. And this is against Bird or Bus and Spider-Man Hot Dog. So I notice that, I mean, this is the middle game. I also like, okay, black, I'm sorry, white needs to get this knight out. Okay, so knight is attacking the queen and the knight. Okay, so knight takes. I Okay, so pawn goes there. Okay, this is, I mean, this is a nice pawn center. Okay, queen goes here. You me. Oh my gosh. Oops. Eggs, that's a big blunder. If I was white, I would take it back with the knight so we can get the knight out. Um so white is down the queen right now and is in a difficult position right now. So is white gonna hold on? I'm not too sure. But let's move on with another one. This is so interesting. Notice like this Spider-Man hot dog and then spider with a top hat. Both names start with the word spider, but let's take a look at this game right now. Okay, it looks like black lost the queen by the knight. This bishop is pinning the knight to the king. Why can't we just okay, so the knight goes here, it's checking the king. If this is a difficult position, um if I was black, I would probably, I don't know, this is very, very tough. If the king goes to e8 or d7, then it would be on this, the king would be on the same line as the bishop and the knight. But white should win in this position. This should be a pretty easy win, but we shall see what happens. If I was right, what I would probably do. First of all, I would probably take the knight, but this is good. Knight's checking the king, this bishop. I would probably just take the bishop right now. Or we can, the knight can take this pawn. Oh, okay. Knight can just take this pawn, and then the knight is checking the king. Also notice that this knight can't take the knight because this bishop is pinning the knight to the king. But there's many ways to win in this position. So this bishop just goes over here. Okay, so the bishop, I would definitely maybe just take this pawn right now. So I don't know why he moved this bishop here, but okay, let's move on to the first the top board right now. What is going on right now? The pawn just moved to g3, and it looks like black wants to attack. And okay, so the pawn goes here. It seems like the knight could maybe go into g4, and then the knight would be attacking the pawn on e3. Um, yeah, so the knight can go here. This would be actually very good for black. Okay, so the knight goes there, and um is it safe to take this pawn with the knight? If that happens, I don't know. That seems kind of risky because the queen can go here and then the knight becomes pinned. So black decides to move the rook over here. Okay. Yeah, we'll see what happens. These knights are strong. This pawn on g3 is strong. We'll see. Let's move on to another game. This one is okay. This game ended, and black checkmates white. The queen went from g1 to e3. This is a checkmate because first of all, the king can't capture the queen because of this pawn. Um, the king cannot go to the squares because of the queen. Notice this king cannot go to g4 because of this knight, and then this king cannot go to these squares because of this rook. This is a very beautiful checkmate. Notice that all of the pieces, they're all helping each other out, and that's great. Okay, let's move on to another one. We're gonna go. Ooh, okay, so both games ended. That's interesting. Okay, let's go ahead. Actually, yeah, let's see what happened. Um, Okay, the knight managed to get to h2. It's attacking the bishop. Okay, and um this is looking pretty scary for white, because if the pawn takes the bishop, then the knight can just take that knight, and then the bishop or the queen can't take it, because once this pawn goes at f4, this queen is checking the king. This looks like a very powerful attack by Coach Tortoise. What is white going to do? Okay, so bishop takes, and is the pawn gonna take it back? Okay, and now the pawn, it's attacking the queen. The queen decides to go here. And then it looks like maybe we need to move this bishop out, because this pawn is, oops, no, I didn't mean to guess. Yeah, maybe the bishop is gonna move. Okay. Oh, wow. This is very interesting. So white, um, so say black decides to go to f3. Is this pawn gonna take the knight right now? Um, it's very interesting. Okay, so king goes there, but is this bishop gonna take the, is this bishop gonna take this pawn? Okay. And okay, so knight goes here. Okay, so it looks like this knight is the knight can go to d6, and then that would be a knight fork. So black needs to be careful. Okay, and now black is in a time scramble right now. So, a lot of crazy things can happen right now. Queen goes here, it's pinning the rook to the king. That's why he moved the, whoa. Okay. So notice that, okay, well, Coach Torres has less than doesn't have that much time right now. Oh, okay. And it looks like whites should win in this position. Okay. Wow, that was the, okay, so tournament is over right now. How interesting. Let's go ahead and just take a, can we see let's see the standings right now. Okay, this is the result. So let's just take a look. Cal Rene got first place with 2 out of 3, and won by tiebreakers. Brit or Bus got second, and then Coach Tortoise and Spider with the top hat tied for third place. So okay, you guys, that was a very fun tournament. It was nice to analyze the chess games. What I'm gonna do is I wanna just take a look, I wanna analyze some of the games. Let me figure out how to do that. Let's see. How are we gonna do that right now? Open games. Can we go? Let's go ahead and this seems like a good game to analyze. Okay. Okay, so this game, it was played by Spider with a top hat, and these are puppies. So I'm gonna go ahead and look at the moves. This game was only 21 moves. I'm gonna go ahead and just go here. So we went e4, and then e6, and then knight to f3. This is called the French defense, and usually in this opening, if black moves the pawn to e6, then usually the pawn goes to d4 to gain more space in the center. So that's usually how the French defense is played, but you can go knight to f3. I think this is perfectly fine because at least you get the knight in the center. But if I was white, I would definitely move the pawn to d4. But okay, knight to f3, pawn goes to d5, and then knight goes to c3. If I was white, I would probably just take the pawn on d5, because if the pawn takes, then white can gain space by moving the pawn to d4. So that's interesting. But knight goes here, and then the pawn goes to e5. But I'm trying to figure out why? When you're playing chess, it's important to ask, if I move here, is it safe? If the pawn goes to e5, it's not safe because then I can just take it. If I was black, I would probably move the pawn to d4. And the reason why I would probably do this is because the pawn is attacking this knight. It's not safe for this knight to take the pawn because the queen is protecting the queen's protecting the pawn right now. So if the knight goes here, then the pawn can just go to c5. But let's go back to what actually happened. So bishop goes there, and then the king goes to e7. I do not like this move for a couple of reasons. One is if you move the king, then you cannot castle. Another reason why I don't like this move is because now, like, the bishop on f8, it cannot move. And I don't like this move. If I was black, I would probably move the pawn to c6, and then that stops the check. And also notice that this pawn is also attacking this bishop. So that's what I would probably do right now. Let's move the pawn to c6 right now. Okay, so this not the best move. So just remember that next time, move the pawn to c6 to get out of check. Okay. Pawn goes to d3. That's interesting. If I was okay, I mean, okay, the pawn goes there, it opens up lines for this bishop. I also think that maybe we can also just take the pawn with the knight, and then that would be checking the king. So that's what I would do right now. But okay, d3, knight goes there, bishop goes to g5. Notice this bishop, it is the bishop is pinning the knight to the king. And that means like the bishop, knight, and king, and also this queen, they're all on the same diagonal. This knight cannot move, because if the knight moves, then the bishop will be checking the king right now. So this is pinned. Okay. So I like this move. Pawn goes to b6. Okay. If I was yeah, this is difficult. I mean, I if I was black, I would probably move the pawn to c6 just to attack the bishop right now. I just notice right now is, the king can't even go to e8 or d7 because of this bishop. So this king is in a tough position right now. Okay, pawn. You guys, welcome to my live stream. If you have any questions, let me. Um just type it in the chat. I'd be happy to just look at it. I'm going over a game against Laser Puppies and Spider with a Top Hat, and this is the last round game right now. Let's move on. Okay, so the knight takes the pawn, and it's free to take it. If I was white, another move that white can probably do is to just take the pawn on d5. Notice that the knight is attacking the knight and also checking the king at the same time. also notice that this knight cannot capture the knight. If the knight went to d5, notice that the knight can't capture this knight because this bishop is pinning the knight to the king. So that's what I would probably do. But I think that this move also still works too. So we'll see what happens. Okay, this is a huge mistake. First of all, it's not safe to move the knight to c6. Notice that there's no pieces that are protecting the knight on c6. Notice that white has two attackers right now. And this is very good for white. If I was in black's position, I would probably I don't know. I might want to just move the pawn up to c6 maybe. Or maybe move the pawn to a6 to attack this bishop. Um this is yeah, I would probably go here because this king is just wide open right now. Okay, but knight goes to c6. When you're playing chess, it's very important to ask, if I move here, is it safe? And I do realize, like, this is a blitz tournament. And um if it's a blitz tournament, sometimes you might not have enough time to ask basic questions, but this is blitz, like, we want to just have fun. But if you're playing a game with a slow time control, always ask, if I move here, is it safe? But let's see what happened. So knight takes knight on c6, and this is a very good move. Notice that the knight is forking the king and the queen at the same time. That's great. So notice it does matter which piece takes the knight. If you notice right now, if the bishop takes the knight, the bishop is attacking the rook. But of course, like, when you're playing chess, you gotta figure out, like, okay, if you have two or more pieces attacking the knight, you got to figure out, like, what is the best piece to capture the knight. So in this case, white took the knight with the right piece, and that's with the knight. So that's a very nice queen fork. So king goes there. This is very dangerous. Right now, I mean, black is in a very difficult position, but maybe that is, I guess this is the best move. If you notice right now, the bishop, knight, and king, they're all on the same diagonal. So knight takes, king. Okay, I don't. Whoa. Okay, that's pretty crazy. If I was black, I would definitely just take the knight right now. But again, this is just a very difficult position. If the king just takes the knight right now, then this pawn can go here, and then now the pawn is attacking the pin piece right now. But this is just a very difficult position for black right now. But let's see what happened. So the king decides to not take the knight and decides to move the king to e7. Let's see what happens. So white decides to move the knight back to c6. This is a good move. It's checking the king. Let's see what happens. And the king goes there. Okay, and then let's see what happens. White decides to castle. I think there's, like, many ways we can win in this position. So I mean, first of all, since white is up material, this bishop can just take the knight, and then the king can just take it back, and then the knight can just go here. There's many ways white can win in this position. But let's go back to what actually happened. So white decides to castle. It's a good move. This king is not going anywhere right now. Okay, bishop goes there, and then knight. Okay, so this knight decides to move. The knight moves to d4, and yeah, I think it's a good move. It's checking the king. This bishop is attacking this bishop. Again, I think in this position, white can also take the d5 pawn, and notice that, I mean, if the king, if the knight takes it, then this, this queen, can go over here and check, and then this is looking very good for white. But again, there's many ways to win. White decides to go here, king goes, to e7, and then what happens now? This king is pinned, and then bishop goes to a6, and again, I'm not too sure why the bishop went to a6. In this position, I would definitely just take the pawn on d5, and the reason why I would do this is because the knight is checking the king, also attacking the knight on f6. And again, the bishop is pinning the knight to the king, so this knight can't take the knight right now. That's what I would probably do. If the king goes here, well, then, I mean, there's many ways. I mean, the knight can go here, king goes here, and then the knight can just take this rook. So many ways to win, but let's go back to what actually happened. So the bishop goes here. Okay, so bishop goes to a4, and then the bishop goes to b7. If I was white, I would probably just take this bishop. It's important to ask questions like, if I move here, is it safe? That's what you want to try to do. So the again, or like always ask, like, if I move here, is it safe? It's not safe for the bishop to go to a4. So I would definitely just take the bishop right now. But okay. Okay, so bishop goes to b7, it's attacking the rook and the pawn at the same time. Let's see what happens. Okay, rook goes to b8, it's attacking this bishop, so white should do something about this bishop. Let's see what white does. White goes there. Okay, I think I'm moving the bishop to a6. I think it's an okay move, but again, if you can safely capture a piece, go ahead and just take it. I noticed like this bishop can just take the pawn on d5, so I would probably just take this pawn right now. Or yeah, that's what I would probably do. Let's just take the pawn, but okay, let's go back to what actually happened right now. Bishop goes there, bishop goes there. This is not safe. If you notice right now, there are 3 white pieces attacking the bishop on b5, so this is not safe for the bishop to go to b5. But again, if I was black, what would I do? This is a tough position for black right now. I mean, what would I do? I don't know. Maybe if I was black, maybe h6 to attack this bishop. I mean, I noticed that this bishop can't even move. Yeah, this is difficult. But okay, let's go back to what actually happened. Okay, so bishop goes to b5. Bishop takes. Okay, that's fine. And then pawn goes to c6, and then the knight takes it. Okay, and again, when you're playing chess, you gotta figure out which piece should take the pawn. It's better to take the pawn with the knight, because if you take the pawn with the knight, notice that this is a knight fork, and that's great. If you notice that if you take the pawn with bishop, there is no bishop fork. So white did take the pawn with the correct piece. So that's great. Let's see what happens. King goes to e8. You guys, if you want to, if you have a question, feel free to type it in the chat. This is I can't see the chat on my Twitch channel. So if you're watching on Twitch, then I do encourage you to go to my YouTube channel so I can see the chat. Okay. So the king goes to e8, and this is pretty tough because the bishop knight and king, they're all on the same diagonal. If I was black, I would probably maybe move the king over to d6 or e6. I mean, but again, it's black is in a losing position. But let's go back to what happened. Okay, king goes to e8. Oh, knight takes rook, and then notice the bishop is checking the king. King goes there, that makes sense. And then the queen goes here. Finally, the queen, it's the most powerful piece. And the queen goes to g4. And this is very interesting. You might say, like, hey, but the knight can take this queen. But the knight cannot capture the queen because this bishop, it's pinning the knight to the king. So if you think about it, if the knight does take the queen, that would be a legal move because then the bishop can just capture the king. So moving the queen to g4, it's a safe place. So when you're playing chess, it's important to ask, if I move here, is it safe? And it is safe to move the queen to g4. So let's move on to what actually happened. So the pawn moves to d4, and it's attacking this knight. Let's see what happens. Okay, and this is a mistake. So if you're white, what is white's best move right now? What is white's best move right now? So I notice that this bishop is controlling the d7 square. This knight is also controlling the d7 square. And also notice this queen is also controlling the d7 square too. Can um can you do a checkmate? So the best move is this queen can just go to d7, and this is a checkmate. And you might be asking again, no, this is not checkmate because of this knight. But as I told you before, this is checkmate because the bishop is pinning the knight to the king. So therefore, this is checkmate. The king can't capture the queen because the bishop and the knight are protecting the queen. This king cannot go to any of these squares. So this would be checkmate. What happened? So white decided to take the knight. It is a good move, but just remember, checkmate is always the best move. Um, so okay, so the pawn takes the bishop, and then okay, so white checkmates black one move later. Okay, interesting, very very interesting. Interesting game. Okay, let me see if I can go ahead and analyze another game. I'm gonna go ahead and maybe we can analyze. Let's see. So Eaterite is rated 253. Maybe I can analyze one of his games. Let me see. But I don't know. I'm trying to get. How do I get to the games? I want to see all the games right now. Oh wait, no, that's me. Okay, no, that's not it. I want to see all the games from this tournament, but I'm not too sure how to do that right now. Okay. I don't know. Maybe I should go back. What's this? Oops, I don't know. Let's go back. Okay, so this is it. And then, oh, okay, so here's the standings right now. I want to go over a game that was played by Eaterite because Eaterite has the lowest rating. So let's go ahead. Eaterite played against Coach Tordes. So let's go ahead and go over this game. And this looks like oh, it's an interesting position. Okay, so the bishop checkmates the king. Okay. And this game, it was 8 moves long. It's a super short game, but let's go over it. Okay, so the game starts out with e4 and e5. Again, this is good for white. Um, when you start out in a chess game, e4 is good because you get a pawn in the center. It opens up lines for the bishop and also this queen. So this is a great first move. And then pawn goes to d3. This I'm not a big fan of this move. Earlier, earlier in the broadcast, I mentioned that when a pawn goes to e5, usually white should move the knight over to f3 or knight to c6. If the knight goes to f3, notice that you get the knight in the center, and then the knight is attacking this pawn. And there's a couple ways that that can respond. One very popular way is to move the knight to c6 or move the knight to f6. Um, the reason why this is I don't think this is the best move, because notice that this bishop, it can't get out, right? This bishop right now can only go to e2. And like usually, like you want the bishop to be outside the pawn chain, and the bishop should go to c4 or b5. But the good thing about this move is it does open up lines for this bishop. So um, this is I mean, it's an okay move. It's not the best move, but I don't think it's like the worst move ever. But again, um, the best move or the move that I would do right now is let's just go f3. I think this is the most standard move. But okay, let's move on. Pawn to d3, knight goes there, and then knight goes to e2, and then I'm trying to figure out why why e2. I'm not too sure. Is this knight attacking anything? The answer is no. If I was in this position, what would I probably do? I would probably like just move the knight to c3 or knight to f3. I noticed that if the knight goes here, um I mean, okay, the bishop on f1, it cannot move. So I mean, maybe white can just move the pawn to g3 and then move the bishop to g2. But right now, this seems kind of it seems kind of awkward right now by moving the knight to e2. But let's move forward. Okay, so bishop goes to c5. It's attacking the pawn on f2, and white needs to be careful because notice this pawn is only protected by the king, so white has to be careful right now. What happens now? Okay, pawn goes to b4. Okay, what is the idea with this? Um, when you're playing chess, usually you want to ask like if I move here, is it safe? Is it safe for this pawn to go to b4? No, because the bishop can just take it. Well, black decides to just go here anyway, but I think that black can also take this pawn too. But if I was white, um maybe the pawn should go to h3. I'm just very concerned. Like, what would happen if the knight goes to g4? Um, that looks kind of scary. But okay, let's go ahead. Let's move on. So bishop goes to b6. Bishop goes to a3. Hmm. I'm trying to figure out why did the bishop go to a3? Okay. Um. Hmm. It's it's not typical for the bishop to go to a3. I mean, maybe I mean, you have to get the knights and the bishops out. I mean, maybe he wanted to move up the pawn to b5, and then that can't castle because the bishop is controlling the f8 square. I'm not really too sure, but if I was If I was, white, I would probably move the pawn to, h3 because it stops the knight, from going to, um, g4. I'm just very concerned about, the pawn on f2 right now. Or the yeah, it's just like this bishop on f1 cannot move. Yikes. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so bishop goes to a3, knight goes there, and then pawn goes to b5. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so the pawn goes to b5. It's attacking the knight. Also notice this bishop is also controlling the f8 square. So that means black cannot castle. We'll see what happens. So the knight um goes to e7, and it looks like maybe he did this because then he can castle. That's what I think, but let's see what happened. Um Pawn goes to d4. If I was white, we need to focus on just getting the knights and the bishops out. Um, it's kind of a tough position. Again, I still like pawn to h3, or perhaps, yeah, I don't know. I'm just very concerned about the um this pawn, or maybe knight to g3, but this is kind of difficult right now. The bishop on f1 cannot move, but okay. Pawn goes to d4. It looks like white wants to attack. It's just, but white, like this knight has not been moved. But okay. Knight goes, the knight takes the pawn on e4. What happens now is, oh no. Okay. This is actually a big mistake. White takes the pawn on e5. Okay. And then black checkmates on f2. The reason why this is checkmate is because the king can't capture the bishop because of this knight. Notice this king can't go anywhere. The king can't even go to d2 because of this knight. So you need to pay attention to like what pieces are on the same diagonal. Notice this knight, it's attacking the pawn on f2, but it's not safe for the knight to take the pawn on f2 because of this king. But also notice like, hey, look, this bishop, this pawn, and this pawn, they're all on the same diagonal. So, but it's kind of interesting because right now, this bishop, it's not attacking the pawn on f2. This bishop, it's attacking the pawn on d4. But notice, like, once this pawn takes the pawn on e5, notice now the bishop can take the pawn on f2. Um, so so taking the pawn on e5, that's a big mistake. So what should white do in this position? Let's see. I may want to maybe the knight can go to d2 and attack the knight. This knight's just very, very strong. Or maybe move the knight over to g3. Or yeah, maybe move the knight to g3 and attack this knight, and then now this bishop can get out. But okay, interesting game. So that was interesting. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and analyze another game. So let's go back to the chess tournament. And you guys, we're planning to have another chess tournament on Monday. We're planning to have this every Monday, so please come back next Monday. We just want people just to play their best, but also have fun. That's very, very important. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at another game. Maybe we can go with how about this one? This is Spider with a top hat vs Bird or a bus. This looks like a um or maybe no, these are puppies. Rated 775. Let's see what happens. Oh wait, let's see what happened in this game. Okay, so this is an interesting position. Okay, so it was e4, d6, pawn to d4, pawn to e6. White has a nice pawn stretcher. Notice that white has a nice pawn a space advantage. It opens, and then when white moves the pawn up 2 spaces, then it opens up lines for the bishop. That's good. Knight goes to f3. Knight. Okay, so the knight is attacking this pawn. So Coach Tortoise moves the knight over here. It's protecting this pawn. Knight goes to c6. Bishop goes to d3. Bishop to d6. Okay. Castles. And then so wait, let's go back for a second. Usually when people move the pawn to d6, usually people you can also move the pawn to g6 and then try to develop your pieces this way. But okay, let's go back to what actually happened. Since black moved the pawn up one space, this is kind of a cramped position. So I notice this bishop can only go to e7. Okay. Castle. Black goes to e5. Pawn takes. No, bishop goes there. If I was black, I would definitely maybe just take it back. But let's go back to what actually happened. Pawn takes knight. And then why can't I think that the queen can just take the pawn on f6. That's safe. But okay. Queen goes there. Bishop goes there. It goes there. Bishop, it's pinning the knight to the queen. Okay, so bishop goes here. This is pretty dangerous because white is threatening to take the g7 pawn. If this is the case, then this would be a double attack move. The bishop will be attacking the rook, and then the pawn is attacking the rook and the bishop at the same time. So this is dangerous. Knight goes to b4. So if you notice right now, this knight on c6, it is pinned. It's not a good idea for the knight to move because the if the knight does move, then the bishop can just take this queen. So when you're playing chess, it's important to notice like what pieces are on the same diagonal as the queen and also the king too. Knight goes here, big mistake. Bishop takes. Rook goes there. Okay, pawn goes to a3. It's attacking the knight, and then we need to figure out like what pieces are like being attacked right now. Try to do that before every single move. The pawn is attacking the knight, so we definitely want to just move it back. But okay, so pawn just takes knight. Bishop goes there. I'm not too sure why. Why did the bishop go back to c8? Because I mean this bishop is on a good square right now. It's the bishop is pinning the knight to the queen. If I was black, then I would probably maybe move the pawn to g3 so this pawn cannot move. I mean, black is in a difficult position right now, but I mean, if bishop goes there, and then if black allows this pawn capture, this is looking pretty bad for black right now. Bishop takes pawn, rook takes, king goes there, and then the pawn goes to e5. Again, pay attention to what pieces are on the same line. This pawn is pinned. The queen, it is pinning the pawn to the king. That's why this pawn cannot take it. It's a very bad idea if the bishop takes the pawn because the knight can safely take the bishop. So the pawn cannot capture the knight back because the queen is would be checking the king. But okay. What happens is rook goes there, pawn takes, queen goes there, bishop goes there, rook goes there. There's many ways to win. Bishop goes there, and then that's a checkmate. So that's very interesting. So thank you so much for watching this broadcast. I hope to see you next Monday for our next blitz tournament. If you played in this tournament, I hope you had fun. And yeah, let your friends know about this tournament. And if you like watching my videos, I do invite you to subscribe to my channel. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Oh, also the other thing I wanted to tell you, I hope I can get my website to work right now. Okay, my website is not working right now, but that's okay. Okay, you guys, I hope you guys have a great night, and talk to you guys later. Bye.